What's going on, guys? Got a quick Madden 13 video for you today. Please do me a favor. Take a moment, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Of course, criticism in the comments section. I'll play this at speed. Ask you to follow me on Twitter. My username is ShutdownSafety. Did this with All Pro Football. Wanted to come back, do it with Madden 13. Talk about the stages of the game I'm personally looking for improvement with in terms of promoting the new game. And these are things that I'm looking for in trailers, in sneak the gameplay footage from E3, in little video snippets. This is what I'm looking for, because this isn't the sexy stuff they're going to promote and sell to us. But this is fundamental football stuff that's going to determine whether the game is more playable than it was this year than not. So the first thing I want to talk about is some offensive line interactions, and this is something that I brought up a few times, but I'm telling you, since I've brought it up, I've noticed this happens a lot more frequently when you have a back set to block. And when we talk about what these linemen are doing in terms of only really interacting with linebackers, is I hate to see this diving at a player's feet moments into a play. I don't know why this is what we're seeing in pass blocking from my offensive line. You're a big, strong lineman. You should be able to contain a linebacker. In this case, A.J. Hawk is running right toward the lineman, and he still does this. To me, this is something that needs to stop, because as you can see, A.J. Hawk is fairly athletic. He's able to kind of hurdle this block and run directly into the backfield. If it's not for my fullback picking him up, this could easily be an immediate sack or at least pressure that I might not be able to scramble from. Now, when we talk about the other side, it's a little bit more realistic here, because you can see Clay Matthews is set up on the hash mark to the outside, but still I don't like the fact that he starts to kind of run over, and all of a sudden my lineman becomes this super fast guy, is almost shoulder pad to shoulder pad with him in all honesty, but instead of trying to block him, just kind of throws a roll in there and upends him. Now this really leads me to a point where I have no more outside protection in my pocket. Now I'm going to scramble in this play, and when I do, I want you to go ahead and just take a look at the defense as I read it, because this is something in terms of realism has to change in Madden, because right now there's one less player on the defense, and we're talking about this corner right here. This is something that is all programmed AI. This corner has to realize there is no one in his zone. He has to start committing one way or another with this game. This corner has to either commit back to start to protect this end of the field. He has to start sliding over to protect where I can throw the ball, or preferably, he needs to start running toward the quarterback and putting pressure on him. Standing here doing nothing for the duration of this play and watch the ball sail over your head 20 feet to the right absolutely does nothing. It's literally a defender off this team. Now, a couple things that I really like about this play are the fact that position really does tend to get respected. You can see T.O. puts his hand up, signals that he's open. But what I don't understand is Shields is actually coming down the field. Now, if you're a safety, you're playing back at the 45-yard line, you've got a linebacker and a corner up here. Why are you cutting across and running up inside a wide receiver? I mean, this is a play where if it happens, you are immediately off the field for the rest of the game. This is not going to be something that teams put up with. He basically runs underneath me, allows this pass to come in, and again, I like the fact that this is position being respected. He ran underneath, now he's stuck, he has to turn around. It's not a situation where he's going to morph or shift over to defend this pass. Now, when we talk about, shifting and warping, I want you to notice, at the same time I start this user catch and take control of the player, clearly not an animation for this. Now all of a sudden, the separation that I've gained is lost as I run in place on the field, getting into a catching animation. These are things that also, like I said, have to change. Now, this other problem, and this is something that haunted 2K, I used to call it the Cheetah Tackle, because this is exactly what it looks like when a cheetah comes up and grabs an antelope. You can see here, Shields is starting to dive, T.O. is starting to accelerate. However, they're not really going to make contact. His arm may brush my calf right here. You can see his fingers just start to touch my calf. This should not trigger an animation like this, where now I'm stopped, I'm running in place, I'm covering the ball. He has still no contact with me from that point, but he's continuing to kind of go into this tackling animation at a much faster rate than I am moving forward, and then now I'm starting to run out of this tackle. That's something that I don't like. Now, the last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll just kind of do an altogether recap, is the pursuit. You can see now I've got the linebacker in the corner that really sat there in the zone pursuing me down the field, and they're just pursuing to the ball in my hand and nothing else. When I cut to the left, they're cutting to the left. When I cut back to the right, they're cutting back to the right. And this prolonged version of pursuing to the ball, not to the ball carrier or the point it's going to be, is something that really makes everything else but speed worthless. You know, these are players that should have a firm understanding of how to pursue a ball carrier down the field without this zigzag running, as people term it. So to go back and look through this, you know, piece by piece, again, I want to see these linemen not start lunging at the feet of linebackers. I want to see safeties, linebackers, corners, very respectful of their zones in a passing situation, react to the zone if they have to. I want to see catches that are seamless in the field, where players don't have to run in place. I want to see tackles that are made really only through solid contact, not a mere brush of a wide receiver. And I want to see players intuitive enough to pursue to the ball carrier at a point he's going to get to, not the point he is. And unless I see this out of Madden 25, I don't think we're going to see a better game. I think we might see an improved game in some areas, but from a fundamental standpoint, this game will continue to suffer the same poor reviews and the same videos like me and many others make for the next year, which is not something any of us want to see happen. Hope you guys took time to enjoy this video. I appreciate you checking it out, and as always, you know I will be back in the week with more content.